Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray. Thank you for watching. Today, we're going to be talking about Dr. Stone Season 3, Episode 19, or Dr. Stone Season 3, Part 2, Episode 8. I prefer the later. And let me tell you, this was a crazy episode. Paired with Jujutsu Kaisen, as I am watching these and making the reviews on the same day. Wow. This was one heck of a yo-yo of an episode with a beautiful, satisfying conclusion, if I may say. So, we start off with basically where we ended. You know, Ibara getting the Medusa, and then Senku scaring him as well. Let's go ahead and skip to the introduction. And then he was like, I cursed you. You know, I've made you into stone. How the heck are you even alive? And then we learn that Chrome has figured out the timing of the Medusa, how long it actually takes to expand and petrify people, and how long it takes to get petrified once the light touches you. So they all use this knowledge. They line up in a line and signaling when the speed will become faster. So basically when they are getting fully petrified, they put their hand up. So that's exactly what they did for Senku. And Senku figured out, with air resistance, everything else, putting all the math into it, when he starts getting petrified, when he is going to have to use the revival fluid. So he does have it on him. He has the nitric acid on him to revive somebody. However, if he gets petrified, if everybody gets petrified, they cannot use it. So he's thinking, oh, well, maybe I'll just dip my thumb in it or something, and that'll allow me to move my hand and break free and use the rest of the revival fluid as well. Or maybe it won't, and only my thumb will only be unpetrified, and it'll fall off in a couple thousand years. He has too many unsure occurrences. But because he knows the timing, he realizes that if he times it right, he can throw the revival fluid straight up in the air for it to stay up long enough. That way it dumps back down on him after he is fully petrified. So that is exactly how he does it. And I was wondering myself, I was like, how the heck? I was like, oh, well, maybe if he hid behind all of them. But no, he waited to get petrified. He waited till it hit a certain point in his arm. And you actually see it looks like it beat up his hand a little bit in the process. And then he threw it up in the air as he was getting petrified, so he became unpetrified. He then tried to, get the petrification Medusa out of the one guy there. I can't remember his name. Musclehead, we'll call him. But Ibara was too close by and got it. So they have kind of the conversation. He's talking about how he has a self-driving car, and then he thinks game over, checkmate, good to go. He goes down, grabs it, but Ibara actually put on armor under his clothes. He actually takes off some of his clothes and shows us the armor. Let's see, he had like a giant seashell or something. That way he wouldn't get hurt too bad. I'm trying to find the clip. Yeah, it ends up breaking and falls to the ground. And he was like, what, you think I don't know what you're doing? Ibara is definitely not stupid. And Senku knows this, I think, as well. Or at least he leads you to believe he thinks this. So he's luring Ibara into the woods, and he was like, oh, well, of course he's luring me into the woods. That way I can't throw it. It'll get caught on something. It'll get stuck on something. I won't be able to throw it. And, maybe I'll end up petrifying myself or something. Leads into a cliff. And Ibara's like, haha, how do you think I've been leading you to this wide open area the entire time? That way, there's nowhere for you to hide. You're going to get petrified. You're going to get turned to stone too bad. And apparently Ibara doesn't seem to care that he got shot in the hand, because he is still actively using that hand. He was surprised. It probably hurts. But he looks like he's a little buff. He's been working out a little bit. He was a warrior at one point in time. He's older now, so not as much anymore. But he definitely was not messing around. So, he calls it, throws it up in the air. We think that's all she wrote. And then he realizes, oh, crap. This is the cliff that they were at previously. So Senku actually had the time to revive Ryusui. He operates the drone as well, thinks it's all over. They capture it in the air. They're pulling. They think they're going to get it. he's got another rope. You know, he's got always got the backup plan. You know, he's Ibarra, as I said, he is a smart man. He is like 4 or 5 steps ahead of the game. He's like, I'm not gonna let go. I used to be a warrior. This is a game of 2. He's like, I'm very, very cautious. That's the kind of his catchphrase. Keeps saying, I'm cautious. I'm cautious. I won't make that mistake again. During this tug of war game with the 3 of them, they let go. You know, Senku is basically counting down the 5 seconds until the petrification beam activates initially when he threw it up in the air, and then Ibarra uses his hat to bounce the beam, which is crazy, at Senku and Ryusui, which is ridiculously crazy. He's like, I can't be beat by a bunch of punk kids, my cunnings. So Ryusui runs at him, falls into stone, ends up breaking apart as well. He's got it. And I'm thinking it's game over. You know, like, that. What else can Senku possibly do at this point? But then you see 5 meters, 1 second. And what happened here is Ryusui took the earring that, you know, allows for a very close communication, hooked it to the Medusa, because you have to talk to this thing pretty close. That's what Senku figured out. He wasn't sure. But this, I feel like, was a major gamble, too, because I thought it was something where you had to have a direct voice do it, not through a telephone or sonic device or something along those lines. I did not think that. I was just like 50-50 if that was actually going to work, attaching the earring to it. But it did. Apparently, it was close enough to pick up the sound to finally petrify Ibarra, and we finally win. And he's got it. He's good to go. He's walking around. He is the only person on this island. He might as well be the only person in the world at this point. He's not, but he is alone. He is the only one on the entire island that is currently not petrified. So he is just walking around, you know, thinking he's alone. We go back to literally episode 1, and then the phone rings. And who is it? It is the villagers. So this is actually the first time we have seen the Ishigami villagers in a very long time. You know, you got, oh god, I am forgetting everybody's name. Tsukasa's sister, Kohaku's sister, is it Ruri? I want to say it's Ruri. A couple of the old people, as well as the TV interviewer woman. People we have not seen in a very long time. So it was a nice nod to them as well. Senku high-fives all the stones. He was like, no, I'm not alone. And then we won. That's the end of the episode. Ibarra is defeated. He is petrified. Senku is obviously going to revive everybody. Next episode. What is next episode called? Let's see here. First Dream. So I'm assuming that is a reference to Senku basically bringing back society as a whole as well. And getting everybody unpetrified. And that's probably what he's going to do. He's probably going to get a few people. You know, Yuzuria is probably going to be one of the first ones, so that way they can put all the pieces back together. I don't believe Sozu's father is going to be able to be revived, because I think Ibarra killed him before he petrified him. But we'll see Kohaku again, see Genro again, everybody will be unpetrified. And I don't know what the plan is from here. I mean, we got the petrification beam. We learned who was using it, or so we think. Who knows? Because, you know, we got to learn the person that actually activated 1,000 years ago. Were they on this island? Was their whole goal similar to Moe's, where they just wanted to make a giant harem type situation, or Ibarra, where they were just trying to make a harem? I honestly have no idea. But we have the device that started it all. Everybody's going to get unpetrified. We have a boat. We know we're going to have to do some repairs. They're probably going to be on this island for a little bit. But I'm not sure exactly how this is going to go from here. I mean, I feel like this is kind of like, okay, here's the conclusion. I think technically we should have like at least 3 episodes left, minimum, because this is only 8 of part 2. We got 11 for part 1. It would make sense that we would get 11 for part 2. But I honestly have no idea. So we're just going to have to wait and see where this goes. This one's gonna probably get a 9 out of 10. I think this is well deserving of a 9 out of 10, maybe even a 10 out. Let's give it a 10 out of 10. I'm gonna change my mind on the fly because this was executed beautifully. The animation was fantastic. The surprise was fantastic. It was a constant, like part of it was like you kind of knew Senku was going to win, but then at the same time it was like, oh crap, he might not win. And there was a couple instances where I was generally like, oh no, he is not actually going to win this. Ibara actually has the upper hand. But did not work out that way. Ibara lost, and we are good to go. So 10 out of 10, definitely worth a rewatch. Pretty sure there's stuff that I missed. I would enjoy watching this episode a second time. No problem. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share, notification bell, all that stuff. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one.